Hi, everyone.
Hi, different environment for me today. My office has been ransacked. So Kristie, wow. Just want to say, wow, what a magic session and process we've just taken everyone through, huh?
Oh, so good. I love when we can just get into our bodies and really feel and see and hear what's actually happening for us in those moments. But today, our topic was all about accountability versus blame, wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how easy it is, particularly in the moment, to find ourselves pointing elsewhere, and the reasons for that and the history from it, which we don't need to go into the details, but there is a reason why we do it, and it's ingrained in us all as a first response quite often, until we train it to go a different way, right?
Yeah, like it's just that a human innate reaction to when we're in that hurt or um, and having an experience where someone is perhaps not treating us well and we just want to blame them for everything. But when we can see our part in that situation or see how we got there, we can put all that accountability back to ourselves and create the boundaries and the structure and the communication that we need in those
Yeah.
moments. So
And you took everyone through an incredible process that helped them to really identify with a particular situation. As far back as one example was 5 years ago, and tapping back into that situation where being able to gain perspective on what was going on for both parties in the situation, and be the observer, and
mm,
see what was really happening, so that you can kind of let go of it rather than
mm,
carry our stuff forward with us. And ultimately, I guess one of the key themes, and if you agree, was how we draw from our experience, or gaining that awareness, a level of compassion for others.
mm,
Um, because
absolutely.
we don't always know what's going on, and especially in the moment, it's difficult to see from their perspective when our lens is so maybe emotionally driven, or it goes against our values or beliefs, and it's difficult in that moment to have that view. But in retrospect, especially going through a process like you took everyone through, that we can gain that perspective, and that leads us to having the greater level of capacity to be compassionate.
Mm. And I feel like when, you know, I could hear, which we were talking about after the process, I could hear there was a level of understanding and this a little bit of the sting had been let go of and relief from that situation or those situations when you are hurt. And it is hard when someone says or does something and then you carry resentment or you carry like you say perhaps it was a situation where you never got an apology. you know you then use energy wishing and hoping that you did get that, and would that help you? But a lot of the time it doesn't. So how can we move through and forgive and let go is amazing. Like,
Well,
yeah.
even to gain that awareness, the next bit of work is acceptance, as we identify with a couple,
Mm,
and that may take some time as a process from here. The awareness has been sought. I could see that now.
mm,
Now my task is that acceptance in AAA, but really forgiveness was the key word that came out there. And that may not happen overnight. That might now have to sit for a little while, so that opening can come, and people can let go of it. And use a story of my example with past lover, and the challenges that faced. Never got an apology,
mm,
but as a result of the work over the preceding 12 to 18 months, and some of the work you and I have done together and others, had led to being able to see it for what it is, what that other person may or may not have been going through. Again, don't excuse the behavior. That's theirs. But I don't need to carry it forward anymore, and have learnt to see the lessons from it as what they needed to be, and have a level of compassion and heal from it and let go of it all.
mm,
Even though, and times and times and times again, I sought an apology for the, what I considered ridiculous behavior that never ever arrived. which frustrated me to no end.
Mm.
I'm a pretty rational person. It's like, if you do wrong, then you apologize and you heal from it and you move forward. Okay. But after that work that, particularly some of the stuff you and I have done, it kind of didn't matter anymore, and was able to see, you know what, there's so much I can gain from this regardless. And so that's the focus. Yeah. That's what I'll do. That'll be the action that I take. So it was awesome to take the guys through that as a micro process today, to go through a thing that, ultimately took, 18 months or so for me to go through personally. But it might take that long for them, right? They've started today.
The awareness can be there, but doesn't mean that, we, like you said, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, the more evolved we become, hopefully the quicker those processes of, releasing that emotion and that hurt gets quicker and quicker, because we've got that awareness that, hang on a minute, this isn't all my stuff to carry. This isn't always about me. It's letting go of the ego, letting go of the pride, and a lot of it's also, which we probably didn't actually talk about, a lot of the way we expect someone to behave is through our own beliefs and values and conditioning on how that person should act. But who are we to say that's how that person should act? Because we're all different. We've all come from different spaces. So it's really just putting all that power back into you and how you show up and what your response is when you get these situations, and knowing that we've got, boundaries and, communication that we've just gone through, that we have choices. But when we're in that thick of it, it just feels like, you're under attack, or, it's just like, how do I ever get out of this? That sort of stuck feeling. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way. There is strategies and things that we can do to gain our power back. And I think the moment we really accept that, the moment when we're blaming, we're giving all of our power away. The moment that we're being affected by everybody else, which is fine because we're human, then we've got zero control of our growth or how we, respond in that situation. So yeah, I love this subject and I love the process, because I know when I learnt this process, it really helped me to see a different perspective and to have that compassion. And that's the end goal. Like we said today, the end goal is compassion and forgiveness, but doesn't mean that we force it or fake it to get there, because that's just who we want to be. We have to allow ourselves to go through those steps and those processes. And like you said, it can take 18 months, it can take a year, it can take 3 years, it can take 5, it can take 2 months. Like, there's no timeline. It's just being present with our bodies and allowing us to see it for what it is.
Being open to the work, and being open to even the not work, just the internal goings on that'll process, time will allow the process to happen anyway, once the awareness is sought or gained.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's one thing I wanted to wrap up with that might help everybody here in a way that is kind of the beginnings of, and that was that analogy we gave, that when you find yourself in that situation where it's difficult with a person or somebody does something unconscionable, whatever the case might be, is that consider this, and this might help to get that first level of awareness, that perspective that, that is so powerful that it leads to a level of acceptance and then forgiveness, or whatever the case might be, is that if you were born that, like, identically, genetically the same, had the same upbringing, the same traumas, the same, pleasing moments, all the same life experiences that led to the point where they crossed you in a way, hurt you in a way, did whatever they did that went against your beliefs or your values, that led to you having that, blame versus owning your part in it. If you recognize that if you were born exactly the same as them and been through all of that, you would behave in exactly the same way they are. That's a really interesting way to gain perspective. And so, doesn't necessarily mean we excuse the behavior. It just means we get a level of understanding about why it might be the case. And from there, we get to make new decisions about what we're going to do moving forward. And it makes it a little bit easier, like you said, that sting, it makes it just a little easier to start to let go. Start taking ownership for our part in that. They've got to take part. Whether they do or not doesn't matter. That's theirs for them to take ownership of, but we can take ownership of ours, which is empowering in itself. We can make new changes from there.
Absolutely. And those, you know, those steps to move forward and grow and evolve and, you know, allow ourselves to be the best version that we can be, which we love, because that's what all Secret Sauce is all about, is just growth. And no matter where you're at, doesn't matter what part in the journey that you're at, we can always take that one step forward, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, you know, shameless little shill here, but that's, you know, we're coming up to, you know, end of August, you know, 4 weeks out, we have a new intake. So if there are any of you out there who, you know, from today's topic, even where you've got changing life circumstances, or where people are, you're finding it difficult to relate to people that you kind of need to relate to, whether it's professionally, in relationships, or anyway, even family units, as you and I have experienced, you know, in our own family units where it can be challenging at times. Whatever it might be, if that is something that you feel like some work would be helpful to, you know, having a better life from, you know, gaining those skills, and that the consistency is the big thing by showing up in a forum like what we do here, then reach out to us and let us know, and we'll get you the details. And we've got some pretty cool ways to get involved, you know, really inexpensively, to just try it out if you're interested. Because again, our job is to show value. We always say that. If you're not showing value, then why would you stay? So if you're interested in doing that, reach out to either one of us and we'll get you the details, have a quick chat with you, and we'll see what that looks like. Anything else that you wanted to say there?
No, that sounds all amazing. No, all good. Essentially, I just, you know, Robbie and I love what we do, and we love the impact that our group, our Secret Sauce course creates, and it's life-changing. It's game-changing.
It is game-changing. Absolutely.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Without question. Well, with that, guys, again, if you want to reach out, by all means, even if you're just curious and just want to ask some questions, let us know. Otherwise,
if you're feeling stuck.
Yeah.
If you're feeling stuck, like you're just sick of the same patterns coming over and over again, there's ways. Like we can show you different ways, different perspectives, and lift your awareness. So
yeah,
it'd be great to have them on.
Yeah, big time. Well, hopefully we'll speak to some of you soon. Otherwise, for now, have a fantastic day wherever you are.
Enjoy. Bye for now.